to me and welcome. Before I start, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for getting back to me with messages that are saying, oh, I said something, and you're reflecting on it, and you're thinking about it, and you're trying to put this into your parenting journey. And where I just want to say, we're in this journey together. No one, they say that a child is not raised, you don't raise your child alone. It takes a community to raise a child. So as we're all in this journey together and do wonderful things together in the area of parenting and in the area of our lives as well. So today I have another story. Bear with me, and I would link it into a parenting scenario. So I think about last year, I have like a small community hall not too far from me, but when I'm standing in my living room window, I can see the hall through my window. So they decided to start some construction work and knock it down and to rebuild a modern one. And while they were doing all this rebuilding and first knocking it down, demolishing it, I kind of was observing, but I was trying to relate it to parenting. So I was observing how the builders came with their tractors and the bulldozers, and they knocked this building down. And this building has been there for, I don't know, years and years. They knocked it down, and to my amazement, because I'm thinking, okay, start building another one. But it took time. So what they were doing is they started laying a new foundation, not thinking of saying that, oh, there was already a building there, so let's just build on top of it and go along. No. They started digging, and it took days, and they were digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And I started watching that because for me, it was very, very interesting to see that process. So whenever I'm at home, I would look through my window and see what they're doing. And I started watching, and I saw that they kept on digging and digging and digging. So they got to the right point. Then they started filling up that hole, the foundation, filling it with sand. I'm not a construction worker, so I really don't know the full details or the names, but they kept on doing all this process, and I could see the foundation looked very solid, looked very firm before they started now doing the I think it's the layering and everything. But then the journey continued until I saw different workers coming. Then one day you would see the plastering being done. Another time they were putting in all the fittings to make it beautiful. Another time it was the plumbing. Another time it was the electricity. It took a journey, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you, this building is so beautiful, very different from what the old one used to look like. Every day now and then when I'm going on my walks, I pass this building, and I'm telling you, every day I stand in front of the building and I just look at it, because I just can't believe that this is the same building. So now bringing this to parenting, it made me think that the foundation of anything really is so important, because that's where it starts from. But your foundation needs to be solid. The more solid your foundation is, then the building can stand. And that's the parenting. The foundation for us is we the parents, we are the soil and the ground. Imagine you want to start to plant, and you want to plant a seed for a crop or anything. You just don't go to the soil and just put the seed in. Number one, you have to make sure that the soil, is fertile enough. It's nourished enough for that planting process. And that can take maybe some plowing and tilling and things like that to make sure that the soil is rich enough. The richer the soil, the more quality the crop would be. The same as this house. That's why you find when we go to the supermarkets, you have, I guess, the organic, the non-organic, the Tesco finest, and all those other things, because there's so many processes that they've used to plant different crops. So that made me think that we as parents, it's not only about being parent, but what about our journey before we became parents? We were children as well once. We had our own parents, our parents tried their best to raise us in the best way they knew how to. And I'm not saying there was anything wrong with anybody's parenting, but in life, things always can only get better, as they say. Things can only get better. Now, there's a lot of theories, there's a lot of research that has gone into parenting, into childhood, into early childhood, into children, that we can't use the same methods. We can use some, we don't have to drop everything, but we can't use the same methods of yesterday to raise children now. We have to find what works, because children are more enlightened, they're more exposed. We've known and we've seen, and there's evidence that children from babies have a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential. So we're not treating them like a blank slate. They're born with a lot of potential. So if we, the soil, we, the parents, because the children are the seed, if we, the soul, we're rich enough in our knowledge, we're rich enough in our preparation, we're rich enough in even helping ourselves, that you might have some ways you were parented that you thought, okay, that worked so well, that didn't work so well. The question you ask yourself, that now that I am in this space, now that I am in this journey, how do I help myself? How do I help my child? What are the tools I need? And you must remember, because another thing parents of old did is they used the same way of parenting with all their children. Every child, remember, as we said, is unique. Every child comes with their own personality. Some things will work, the general things will work. Maybe you're teaching them about values and morals, but you have to parent each child in their own unique way. Because what works for child A might not necessarily work for child B. Supposing child A is a child that is a lot calmer, is a child that you need to sit down with more and talk to them and explain things to them, and go to that process of them understanding reasons why you say things need to be done in a certain way. And you're using the other methods of just keep talking. You're just go and do A, then do B, then do C. And the child is just, I'm confused, what am I meant to do? But you might have child B that it doesn't matter. You say, X, Y, Z, they move, they do, they go, they don't care, they move on. But child A might be more sensitive. They might be more sensitive. They might need time. They might need an explanation. Sometimes because we live in a rushed life, everything is so fast. Children need time. From when they're babies, they need time to process. When you're talking to a 2-year-old, you don't give them 1, 2, 3, 4 parts instructions at the same time. You break it down. Even a 1-part instruction, 1-sentence instruction, you can break it down into 2. You can say, James, can you come here, please? James, please put the book. Then you point to the book. You're pointing at the book. On the green table. Come here, please, James, is 1. Can you take the book on over there, please? That's another one. And please put the book on the green table. That's the 3rd one. So you're taking time, you stop and let them process it. Then they do. Stop, process, they do. You're thinking this takes time, but the more you practice it, it becomes second nature. But if you just said, and this is when I'm talking about a 2-year-old, even a teenager, because everyone is different. James, come, take the book, put it on the table now. Believe me. And the child doesn't listen, or the child is looking at you, staring at you and thinking, what are you talking about? It's not the child's fault. So you need to know your child's personality. You need to know that each child is different and have a system of dealing with them. Have time for them. Have a routine. Have a way you order things. So we're coming back to the soil and the seed. So when we're well nourished, we have information. We keep seeking information. We keep learning about new things, about neuroscience, how the brain works, how the mind works, how we keep talking about this rich environment, how we create it, not only for our children, for ourselves as well. If everything is in place, then we plant the seed. And the seed is the child. So, and really, what now does the child need? For a plant or a crop to grow, we know from our biology classes, they need the basic things like sunshine, they need water, they need time, some needs to be, sometimes you plant first from a greenhouse, it's all covered and you're protecting it, then you take it out to the garden. There's so many ways. But if we think about just the sunshine and the water, and sometimes we need to pull out the weeds, pluck the weeds. Sunshine makes the plant grow, brings all the nutrients. What are the nutrients you're giving your child? You're telling your child how much you love them, how much you care about them. But be specific when you're telling your child how you love them. Don't just say, oh, I love you. I love you because you have such a great smile that lights up my room, that touches my heart every time I see you. I love you because you try your best all the time. You do not give up. So the child can process that love in the way that they have a clear understanding. And because they know that they do some certain things that makes you happy, they learn from it and they see that that's the positive reaction. So that's another thing. Then for the soil, the plant also, as we said, needs water. It might be the rain, it might be you watering the crop or the plant. And water is so refreshing. When there is water, everything looks calm and it flourishes. And how do we make our children flourish? By studying them, by giving them the tools they need, the respect. If I respect even the environment gives me back what I need. If I respect the environment, like I'm not throwing things around in the environment, there's no pollution, I get the best out of the environment because everything is fresh air. I'm breathing in fresh air. Everything is new and fresh. That's the same thing. So how you bring in a lot of nourishment. The child is flourishing because they're in an environment where they're not scared there's no fear even if they fail, because they learn from that experience. It's not about getting it right all the time. But even if they don't get it right, we take them through that journey of let's discover, let's talk about what went wrong. Let's talk about how things could be better the next time. What do you think? Ask children open-ended questions. What do you think? You tell me. Curious thinking, curious questions. What do you think? How do you think you handle the situation? And the child will say whatever they think, depending on their age and how well they can express their thoughts. And and you use that. You said, okay, so how do you think if this happened again? What do you think can change? What do you think can improve? You let them talk first. Sometimes we tend to want to talk for our children. Let them talk first. Let them bring in their own ideas, their own thoughts, because they have ideas. They have a lot to think about. They have a lot to say. Then you now explore a routine, a new process together. and they feel as they're part of a team. They see and they know that they have a voice. They see and they know that in this household, I am respected as a human being. I am listened to. My opinion matters. I am valued as a member of this family. And I come together with my parents to make this family the best place to be, the best family to have, the best home to live in. Everyone works together for this. And they say respect begets respect. As you are respecting them, they are respecting you. Remember I said children copy? The way you treat them, believe me, is the way they will treat you, whether intentionally or unintentionally. It does happen. So that is just the beginning of the process of the building of the house. So let's remember a solid foundation. Having a solid foundation takes time. They say it's okay. It's very easy to just break down, but to build something that is so beautiful, like every time I pass that building and I just look at it in awe, to build something so beautiful takes time, takes patience, and takes you having the right tools and the right people around you. The foundation matters. It takes time for the foundation to be built. It takes time for the soil to be nourished enough before you can plant the seed. And that's why sometimes I think the parenting journey, the process should really start from even when young adults are single, or they're still engaged, or they're planning to get married, or they're in a committed relationship. It's best to start having parents coaching or parenting classes so that they understand or they have a good idea about the parenting process. Because sometimes when we get into the process, it might take, it's not the same as in when you're not there first, you're prepared for a bit, like how you have antenatal classes. So the same thing, why not having pre-parenting classes before you actually start that parenting journey? And that will help us. And even if you're in the journey already, it's never too late to get information. It's never too late to improve yourself. It's never too late to add more value to yourself and more value to your child. And I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your evening or your morning or your afternoon, whatever time you're in, wherever you are. And thank you for trusting me to be a part of a member of your household at this moment, or wherever you're watching from. And so next time, remember to subscribe. Remember to put that notification button on. Remember to like, and please remember to leave comments so I know if this is making an impact. I know what content you would like me to share about for us to discuss together. Till next time, bye.